Finally, the people of Ayawaso East constituency here in the Greater Accra region now have a member of parliament. On Tuesday, the Electoral Commission declared Baba Jamal Mohammed as the MP-elect for the constituency. The by-election which took place on Tuesday came on the back of the demise of the sitting member of parliament for the area. Many people say that the voter turnout was very low, but a lot of people also say that in by-elections we record such turnout. We also get to analyze the results as declared by the Electoral Commission and put it side by side by a prediction made by Musa Danko and his Global Info Analytics as far as the election in the Ayawaso East constituency was concerned. This is the Situation Room coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sammi Wiafe.
As part of Heritage Month 2026, we bring you the On-Air series, Our Culture, Our Story, Our Identity. In week 1, the sound of our identity.
A great one from the legend himself, Charles Kojofosu.
In week 2, Our Past, Our Power.
So the African personalities idea, first and foremost, started somewhere in the 1890s by a movement called Gonfanti movement.
In week 3, Faces of the Nation. In week 4, What We Eat, Who We Are.
A typical Fanti palm nut soup is a United Nation soup. Yes, a United Nation soup. So you have fish in there. I will not make palm nut soup unless I have periwinkle.
The Heritage On-Air series 2026, Our Culture, Our Story, Our Identity will air every Monday to Thursday on 97.3 CDFM at 9 a.m. and on Channel 1 TV at 10 a.m. The Heritage On-Air series 2026 is proudly sponsored by GCB Bank, GTP, and Bethel Dental.
On Tuesday, the 3rd of March 2026, the people of Ayawaso East constituency, precise Nima Ikanda, elected Baba Jamal Mohammed as their new member of parliament. A former member of parliament for the Akwetia constituency, a former deputy general secretary of the NDC, and a former deputy information minister. Now or soon, the member of parliament for the Ayawaso East constituency to be sworn in by the speaker of parliament later. We're told that the voter population of over 49,000 people were expected to cast their ballot on Tuesday, but only 16,000 came out in their numbers to vote. Baba Jamal pulled over 10,000 votes, whilst his closest challenger, the MPP's Baba Ali Yusuf, pulled only 4,000 votes. It then means Baba Jamal is the new member of parliament for the area. It's a constituency that has dominated or that has been dominated by the NDC since its creation. And so it wasn't really news to hear that Baba Jamal was the member of parliament or has been elected as a member of parliament for the constituency. He also comes on the back of the primaries of the NDC leading up to this primaries and what number of people said about him. Whilst at that, the Global Info Analytics led by Musa Danko also came out with this prediction. Musa says Baba Jamal was going to get 75% and above. But from the figures given by the Electoral Commission, Baba Jamal did around 64% sort of. We'll analyze the figures as released by Musa Danko, what went wrong, and if indeed what came out on the 3rd of March was a true reflection on the ground. And also, people have, raised issue about the voter turnout, and if it's about time we have a relook about elections or by-elections, especially where precedent shows that the voter turnout has always been low in by-elections. So these are the issues we're looking at today on the situation. As always, I do that with Fred Tete Jabano, my friend and brother. Later, we'll introduce Musa Danko, who is also joining us here in the studio to discuss the outcome of the Ayawaso East constituency by-election. Fred, how be?
I'm good. How are you, Sammy?
I'm well. Very well, thank you.
And happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Fred.
I'm
Thank
told
you.
that you are celebrating a milestone.
I'm 22 today.
Born in 1992.
But well, we all expected Baba Jamal to win, but the numbers, people have raised issues about the voter turnout. You know, is it about time we look at by-elections in the country, because a voter population of close to 50,000
Yes.
and only 16,000
Yes.
pull out to vote.
About 17,000.
About 17,000 show up to vote.
17,000 turned out to vote. So you have a voter number which was about 49,000,
Yeah.
a little less than
Yeah.
50,000. And on the day of the election, you had 17,000 representing about 35% of the total number of voters coming in to vote. And when you break down the numbers in terms of the number of votes, Baba Jamal made about 10,888, which represented roughly 65%, 62% of the vote. His closest rival, which is the Baba Ali, had 4,000 votes. And you want to look at a breakdown of that number in percentages, looking at the turnout, meaning that a little over 20% of the people who came to vote, 20% voted for Baba Jamal in terms of when you look at the general
total
number,
voters,
the total number of voters, a little over 20% voted for Baba Jamal. The question about this election is that, yes, he has been legitimately elected as the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso East election constituency. This doesn't come as a surprise to anyone. Why? Because when you look at the figures from 1992, like we did last week, way down to 2024, the last general elections, this is a constituency the NDC wins comfortably.
Yeah.
So it did not come as a surprise that Baba Jamal has won the election. What is actually worrying is the number of people who came out to vote in this election. You are asking yourself, does this weaken his mandate as MP?
Okay.
Secondly, why are people not turning out to vote? Is it an issue of just apathy, or is it an issue with a problem of people not trusting much the political system? Why would people not trust much the political system? Let's go back to the primaries to this election.
Yeah.
Look at the whole events around that particular election, where you go for primaries, you come out of the primaries, and all we see are videos of televisions, videos of sharing egg and pepper, Kosiani Meko, the videos of money being given out to delegates. Now, people ask themselves, is this what we want as a country or as a people? How do we benefit from all these largesse which these delegates have benefited from? Is it a question of people thinking that, oh, the NDC would win anyway, so why should we turn out to vote? Is it a question of the fact that the election was taking place during the month of Ramadan, where a lot of people were spiritually aligned to their God, praying and fasting, and did not see the need to come to vote in an election which you know that one particular party was going to win anyway.
Obviously.
So it raises a lot of questions. Then your question comes in, should we go back to rethink the whole by-election thing? Because if you look at the last election and the turnout for the last election, which is a general election, and usually general elections, the turnout will be higher than by-elections. But you look at other by-elections which have taken place in this country and look at the turnout compared to Ayawaso East. This is one of the most, one of the worst turnouts we've ever recorded from 1992. So should we relook at our whole election and by-election processes? Is it time that, like we had the debate the last time, we say, okay, when a member of parliament dies, just replace him with somebody from his party?
That's all.
Or we look at probably a system which would get people to come out and vote. You want to consider how much education went into this particular election to try
the NCC do enough?
To try and get people out to vote. These are all questions we need to be thinking about with regards to by-elections, and this, using Ayawaso East as an example. There are so many things which needs answers. The political class, how are they handling the power and mandate being given to them? You understand? So there are so many questions when it comes to Ayawaso East and by-elections generally. And the issue of the mandate of Baba Jamal and what this means for him. He has about 2 or 3 years to serve as member of parliament. When you look into the future and look at these numbers, is it a question of people not trusting Baba Jamal as MP, so they didn't turn out to vote? What is he going to do within these 2 or 3 years left to be able to buy the trust of the people if there's no trust? So there are so many things we need to consider with regards to Ayawaso East and by-elections in this country.
Right, thank you very much. Let me bring Musa in. Musa, ahead of the election, we spoke a number of times. You did some work in respect to the Ayawaso East constituency. Your prediction was that Baba was going to do close to 75%. But from the turnout and the observations and the things you saw, it didn't come out that way. But before that, were you surprised at the voter turnout?
Yes and no. Yes, because generally by-elections don't register huge turnout. And also, some of the issues Fred mentioned, the situation around the primaries could have made things a bit different. But more importantly, I think we shouldn't underestimate the influence of Ramadan.
Okay.
We've never had any by-election or any election in Ramadan in this country.
Okay.
It's an abnormal time to have an election in. And if you look at the Muslim communities from wherever, in the mornings it is quiet. It's even better now. In the last 10 days of Ramadan, it will be worse. They go to pray late night, finish around 3 o'clock, then have something to eat around 4, and then go to sleep for a long time. So in the morning, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you barely see people around.
Okay.
So that had impact on people who are available to vote on that day. So certainly it will have impact. And then they begin to show, or things begin to pick up around 3 o'clock. After Asr prayers, then things begin to pick up around 3 o'clock. So you could see that maybe 3, but then there's not enough time again for them to go and vote. And because it's a stronghold for the NDC, they think NDC will win anyway. So why should I stretch myself to go and vote when I'm fasting, I'm really struggling to even walk? You are thirsty at that time, so it's not going to be just walking. So all those things were part. But I think what we need to do is do post-election poll in Nima to fully understand what happened, for lessons to be learned. And I think we want to do that maybe from tomorrow for the weekend. Post-election survey, why people didn't turn up, what were the factors that contributed to that situation, and then maybe from there we will learn some lessons. Okay.
But have you done some analysis on Ayawaso East? Tell us about it.
Yes,
this is dated the 5th of March, 2026.
Yes, we were in our Ayawaso East, and we covered all the electoral areas in the constituency. And we sampled just under 1,000 voters in the constituency. And we asked them who they intend to vote for. Now, in the polls, 75% of them said they were going to vote for Baba Jamal. That was their intention. 21% said they're going to vote for Baba Ali Yusuf of the MPP. And nearly 3% were going to vote for Omar Sanda Mohammed. And 0.4% for Ibrahim Idrisu and David Isakano, also 0.2%. That was intention. This is not actual vote casting. Intention does not translate into vote until you walk in there and vote. I'm sure a lot of these people didn't show up. Because there were very low people who were saying, I won't vote. They didn't say they won't vote. Would have seen that in the data. So certainly a lot more didn't show up to vote. What happened? On election day, we saw Baba Jamal securing 64%. The MPP candidate nearly 24%. But Umaru Sanda did 11%. David Akuno 0.6%, and Idris Ibrahim 0.3%. So what happened? Look, if you analyze the data, Baba Jamal and Umaru Sanda are from the same party, NDC. So the vote of these guys were from the same bloc. So what happened was that people who said they were going for Baba Jamal, far less went for him than they promised. A lot more went to Umaru Sanda than they said to us. So if you look at it technically, if you add 75% plus 3%, about 78% of the total vote of the poll was going to NDC candidate.
Yeah.
75 plus 3, 78. On the election day, what happened? 64 plus 11 is what?
That's 75.
Okay.
So the numbers swapped.
Yeah.
They moved from Baba Jamal to Umaru Sanda. With regards to MPP's candidate, the numbers were within the margin of error, exactly the same. And these guys were supposed to get less than 1%, and they got that correct. So the movement happened between Baba Jamal and Umaru Sanda. That's where the difference comes. And I think people were loyal to Umaru Sanda. They were NDC guys. They felt they couldn't kind of betray him. And if you look at his performance, it came from certain electoral areas.
Yeah.
I think 1 or 2, and that's where he lives. I think that showed in the numbers. But certainly, it shows that if you go to an election with divided front, your vote will split. Yeah. If it was a swing constituency, that you have to sweat to retain a seat, this 11% have been very significant.
So if Umaru Sanda had been a strong candidate, had enough resources, campaigning, would have called an upset to Baba Jamal?
In Nima, it would be very difficult. Unless people really, really are repulsive of Baba Jamal, which, normally shouldn't have even let him win the primaries anyway, if that was the case. So he is okay, but the numbers show that if it was a swing, it would have been very difficult. In the swing, if you split your vote, you won't survive.
Because going into the election, we had leaders of the NDC, including the national chairman, go into their constituency to go and campaign for Baba Jamal. And in all the outrances, they make mention of Umaru Sanda.
I think that may have backfired a bit.
Okay.
You probably should have ignored him. So by talking about him all the time, people okay.
Well, but they thought you could pose a threat,
I think at the point they were scared. They were scared that he could pull a surprise. But for Nima, I didn't see that coming. I think a lot of people were probably, I said that it won't happen. They felt, the swell on the ground could create some kind of unease. So they went heavily on him. And I think that was probably miscalculation because it probably put him from 3 to 11.
Musa, my concern with this particular numbers for Baba Jamal is what it really means for him. Because going into a by-election, we've mentioned turnout. We've mentioned how an independent candidate who comes from your party was able to grab 11% based on low turnout. Now you've won the election. What does it tell you of Baba Jamal as a candidate and his mandate?
Look, generally, a mandate is a mandate. Those who show up to vote, you have the numbers. And I don't believe if it was huge turnout, he wouldn't won. He would still have won the election. But I think it gives him the chance to reconcile himself with the constituency and see how he can work closely with them to win their heart. It appears there is some seemingly tension in the constituency, and that if it wasn't for NDC that the people love, I think there would have been some kind of upset. But I think they couldn't abandon the party. If you look at the data that we put out in the polls, about 80% were concerned about vote buying.
Yeah.
But they said it wouldn't influence them. So they didn't like it, but they couldn't leave their party behind and go elsewhere. And that was what really benefited him. So he came down 11% compared to the polls. MPP candidate made 3.2% within the polls margin of error, but Umar Sanda gained 8%. He is the biggest gainer on that day, and the rest were in line.
What should the NDC as a party in their constituency be sitting, and how should they be interpreting these numbers? Because yes, you're giving us what the numbers means and everything, but as a party, after winning an election like this, and looking at what's transpired before the election and the whole noise around the election, when you go back as a pollster to explain something to a party, what are you going to tell them? What should the numbers be telling them? Not just for the general populace, but as a party, what should they be looking at? What should they be thinking of? Should they be worried? If they are worried, what should be their worry?
Let's look at this data. 2024 parliamentary elections. The former MP, may so rest in peace, garnered 71%. MPP got 29%. That's a margin of 43% plus for NDC. In the by-election, Baba Jamal got 64%, MPP 24%. The margin is plus 40%. So only 3% drop in the margin. So it should not be worrying for MDC as a party in terms of the overall outlook for the constituency. What they should be worried about is really about the seemingly unease, tension in the community. And I think it is, it may have been fueled by what they saw in the primaries. And we can't discount that maybe the lower turnout could have also been made worse by that situation. And we're yet to find out. But certainly, I won't lose sleep about this if I'm an NDC in Nima, no.
If you're an MPP member and an executive of the MPP, for example, they went to Tamale Central when they said, look, we look at the thing, we don't want to contest. You come to contest another by-election, which is a stronghold of the NDC. Your numbers you get are still not encouraging. As a party within the MPP, are you going to look at your candidate as a person to ask yourself, is this the kind of candidate we should be sending for future elections? Because, Sammi, I was telling you the last time, when you look at the MPP and the candidates they've brought for
Ayawaso, they've always been weak candidates.
It's
over the years.
Very, very weak candidates.
Look, I think to win an election, the starting point is the candidate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If he's vibrant, dynamic, and people can relate to him, you know, they could have taken advantage of the unease in Nima and at least go beyond what they got last time. Actually, they got down by 5%. They underperformed by 5%. And NDC underperformed by 7% in terms of the differences. So I would have thought that, look, take opportunity, put a good fight, find a very good candidate that can appeal. I don't think he's the best they could get there. I don't know what.
Well, they said he's the constituency secretary and he's been there for 3 terms. And so popularity, he's also a teacher in the community. So people could identify with them. More reason why they decide not to do primaries.
I see.
Just select him.
No, sometimes this issue of selecting is not good. It's not good. You have to allow contests, and you can see some best guys coming out. I don't think it was a good candidate, and also the party actually, as a party, didn't really put anything in there.
Yeah, for me, I thought the MPP didn't really campaign in the constituency.
No,
is it because Musa they know is a stronghold of the NDC, no matter what, you know, just let's do our bit. Because compared to Akwetia, I was in Akwetia, I saw the campaign, how MPP was moving from town to town campaigning. In Ayawaso, it wasn't the same.
Isn't it?
See, Akwetia was their seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had to retain it. Right? And also, Akwetia is a swing constituency. That's what I'm saying. If it's a swing constituency, they won't be doing what we saw. It will be completely different. So, in fighting for by-election in the swing constituency and in your stronghold backyard, the times are different.
For me, I think that what the MPP missed out is a chance to put out a kind of political messaging. You see, by-elections are not always held to win for opposition parties, but your performance would be able to get you to be able to carve out a particular political message to tell people that a group of people who are representing the sample size of Ghanaians are not happy with the way Ghanaians or the government is running affairs. So when it gets to by-elections, it's not about, I know I wouldn't win. I know that this is a stronghold of my opponent. But then what can I do to be able to add up to my numbers? Yeah. To be able to come out and say, we have been telling you that the government is not performing. We have been saying that people do not have trust in this government. And it is showing in the numbers in the by-election, especially in the stronghold of the government. So for me, I think that the NPP missed the opportunity to be able to get such a political message and put out, because, like you said, they were not really confident of winning. They didn't dedicate resources to go and campaign in this particular election. Last week, we had an interview with the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NPP, Divine Agohom, on this show. And when you listen to Divine Agohom, it was like we have accepted defeat. This election is just going to be one of the regular elections where the NDC is going, but we are going to try. You understand? Yeah. And for me, as a political party, I think that they should be more aware or more serious when it comes to small issues like this. You may look at it as a very small issue, look at it as just another by-election. But you see, it helps with your future political messaging. It helps with what you are telling the people and what the people are buying. Yeah. So if you see a general populace who are looking, who monitor this election and say, okay, what's the outcome of this election? This place is Ayawaso East. Ayawaso East has always been a huge gap for the NDC. What has happened? The NPP moved from 22 to like 32.
Yes. You are closing the gap.
What is happening?
You know, you are closing the gap.
You can say that there's something happening.
Yes.
Now, the question is, the people themselves are going to ask, what is happening? Is it an issue with the economy? Is it an issue with governance? Is it an issue with people not just being dissatisfied with the way the country is run? There are a lot of questions they have in their minds. You as a political party will now be shaping those thoughts. And it comes to help you at the end of the day when you get to the bigger election. Because by the time it gets to the bigger election, you are trying to draw people's attention to the fact that, hey, things are not going well. And you can see it from these by-elections and what the people are saying in these by-elections. I think that is a lost opportunity for the NDPP to get this kind of messaging. One, because they were not present. And when I say present, it doesn't mean that they're not physically present, but they're not present in terms of putting in all the efforts they could have put in a by-election like this. For me, if you knew that you're not going to do anything, then don't contest. You understand? Don't contest. Because you see, you go through the constituency during campaigning, and you are looking at what is happening. We follow the campaigns of all the candidates. And you go to the constituency and you ask yourself, where is the NPP? What is happening to the NPP? The only time you saw some senior figures of the NPP showing up was the last week of the election, about 2 or 3 days of the campaign. And for me, as a political watcher sitting out there, I was like, what is happening? What's going on? Is it an issue of leadership within the party? Is it that the party or the leaders within the party also have their minds set to other things? Example, the election coming up. So instead of coming to support a candidate, everybody is focusing on their interest, personal interest. I want to run as general secretary. I want to run as chairman. I want to run as organizer. So my whole attention is on what I want to do, leaving behind what the party would have to do and how the party would succeed. So for me, I think that for the NPP, they lost this opportunity to shape a narrative, a particular kind of narrative. I don't know.
I agree with you. I mean, what we've also seen recently post the election is some of them trying to use the low turnout to suggest that people are not happy with what is going on in the economy or the government of the country. But I said, look, you should then go there, contest strongly, and up your numbers from what you got in 2024 to prove a point. We cannot write at the back of a low turnout to say that people are not happy. That is not basis for you to say that people are not happy. You must contest, show that you are ready, and put up a very good show above the 24% that you got when you got 29 last time. I think they should have done better with this Nima by-election.
And I don't know what you make of the leadership. If I talk about the leadership, I'm not even talking about the flag bearer. There are people who have raised concerns about the fact that the flag bearer was not around to even campaign. But we just got to know yesterday that he wasn't even in town when the election took place. But then the general leadership of the party, the executive position, the people who do the day-to-day running of the party, looking at what they did and their involvement, I'm sure they could have done more. How do you assess that?
I mean, certainly if you compare that to that of the NDC, which had the majority of people, they say that seat, but I saw the chairman on the grounds almost on daily basis. The chairman himself and the big piece of the party. So you could say that the NDC took the seat more serious than the MPP did, even though MPP was a challenger and they could have proven a point there by just doing better. But they didn't show that they were quite serious in that by-election. I think they could have done better.
A lot of people have asked about the future of the MPP because in this tenure of President Mahama, I think they've lost 2 by-elections.
Yes,
right, 2 by-elections. So if I'm a supporter of the MPP, should I be worried that 2 by-elections, MPP has not made any strong case in any of them? As a poster, from where you said, look, should MPP members be worried?
Look, generally MPP is worried, and they must be worried for a good reason. Akwetia was a closely fought race, but in the end, NDC won it because the mood of the country at the time was really not in favor of giving the power to, or number to an opposition party. And then Iowa West is NDC area. But generally, the overall sentiment in the country is really having MPP in the corner. They must find a way to come out and be trusted. I think Opon Nkrumah made a comment some time back that they need to rebuild trust. And I haven't seen a lot of things that they do as trust building. If you work on social media, and you could see contradictory strategies and messages that they are giving out there, that is counterproductive to what they want to do. They have to be very honest to themselves, and they should be guided by data. It doesn't have to be global info data. They can have their own data to understand what is going on and how do we respond in the face of these challenges. It is the only way you can reconnect with the people. If you tend to communicate and that communication strategy is completely at odds with the mood of the country, it backfires big time, and that would be a very long-term damage than what we can see now. At least they must do something. I mean, the numbers generally doesn't in terms of party affiliation is the beginning of the problem. Openly saying I'm NDC is too high for NDC at any point. I've never been here to measure all the sentiment over time, but those who openly say I am NDC, it is around 42 to 40% on the average, anywhere. Anywhere you pick a sample in this country.
Isn't it because you're in government, because you're in power?
It is okay. It is okay, but that gap, I've never, it is, I don't know, it's too high. And MPP is between 28 and 30%. And the most worrying part is that among the Akan base of the MPP, they have shrunk. In the Akan area or the Akan ethnic groups, NDC now dominates. That's 5 points advantage over MPP among those who say NDC and the Akans. And if that base is fragmented in that Akan group, I don't think they can regroup well.
You're still watching The Situation. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. That's Musa Damkwafre. Jabana is also here with me in the studio. We're discussing the Ayawaso East by-election, post-election analysis of the outcome of the election. That saw Baba Jamal elected as the new member of parliament for the constituency. We go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll speak to the convener for Election Watch. They also made some predictions ahead of the election, and they also said that the low turnout that we saw is as a result of the Islamic rite, which is the Ramadan, that saw the low turnout in the by-election.
Sweetroof Secondary School invites all alumni and stakeholders to the 67th anniversary and homecoming celebrations. It's happening from Friday the 20th of March to Sunday the 22nd of March 2026. On Friday, How I Got There, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Year groups check-in and roll call. Gary Soakins competition. Cadet course ceremony from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. All students convoy. Drive to Suesco, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Candlelight procession from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Welcome cocktail with alumni and staff of the school. Meet and greet with Compa Band performing live at the forecourt of the school complex from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, speech and prize giving day from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. All year groups lunch from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Alumni dance party from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. On Sunday, anniversary Thanksgiving service at 8 a.m. A great opportunity to reconnect with your old mates. Contact your year group president now. Semper Cum Optimus, always with the best.
On this happy trip back.
Yeah, welcome back. You're still watching The Situation Room, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sammi Wiafe. I'm here with Fred Tete Jabano and Musa Dankwa for the Global Info Analytics, doing some post-analysis of the Ayawaso East by-election, which took place on the 3rd of March 2026. That saw Baba Jamal elected as the new member of parliament for the area. He served as an MP before in the Akwetia constituency. He's now come to the Greater Accra region to serve as an MP in the Ayawaso East constituency. One of the few individuals who've had the opportunity to serve as MP in different parts of the country. Readily, what comes to mind, or who comes to mind, is Boniface Sedek, former member of parliament for the Medina constituency, a former member of parliament for the Salaga constituency, and then Baba Jamal is also in the picture. Let's go on Zoom and speak to Mark Ewusiako. He's the convener for Election Watch Ghana. Ahead of the by-election, they've made some prediction. They've also said that indeed the Ramadan was going to affect the turnout of the election, and truly we saw the voter turnout, voter population of over 49,000. We saw only 17,000 people showing up to vote in the by-election. Mark, thank you very much for your time. Your general impression about the by-election held on the 3rd of March.
A very good afternoon to you, Sammy, Fred, and the almighty Musa Dankwa. Prior to the elections, Election Watch took some survey, and we were much more interested in the peace and safety that has to, come up in the elections. And for our survey, we realized that Muslims in nature are very much particular about their religion. And so then realized that religion was going to take a very deep factor into the elections. Lo and behold, I find that whatever our suggestions were, with the basic and primary information we picked from the constituents to surveys, we realized that indeed the place was going to be relatively calm. It is so because, during such period, worldwide or globally, economic activities really slows down. Human activities as well slows down. And Ghana is no exception of some of these factors because we have Muslims in this country. Of course, in the Ayawaso East, about 92% of the constituents who are voters, and I mean 18 years and above, are all Muslims. And at this particular point in time, some of them get weak. I heard Musa explaining that in the morning they wake up to do their prayers, during the day, some of them will go to work and come back. Some, if they will not go to work, they might be in the room and will not necessarily come out to do any activity. We should also consider that there are many of them who are old age and may not necessarily like to go out to do any human activities for that matter. And so we from onset realized that there was going to be a relatively peaceful elections, which of course would affect the voter turnout. So in general, what we saw was that the fasting was going to affect significantly almost every aspect or facet of the elections last 2 days.
But let's look at the figures that came out. Baba Jamal, 10,000. MPP's candidates, Ali Yusuf, 4,000. Were you surprised that indeed, even though you've spoken about the voter turnout, we all knew Baba Jamal was going to win, but the numbers and the gap, were you expecting the MPP to show up in this election in any way?
Well, I think that there are certain things that we have to look at. Number one, as we speak, the MPP have still not recovered fully from the 2024 defeat. Number two, the division in the party is still hovering on their heads. You realize that after the elections, Kennedy Japan has not really been back to the party to, take up some party activities. Of course, we are also aware that they are rounding up themselves to go into their internal elections, i.e. the various constituency branch elections and the regional to the national elections. And so they have some internal activities ongoing that did not give them that opportunity or that platform to come out clearly to campaign. One other thing has to do with messaging. Clear message to the people was really missing. I thought that the NPP could have held the NDC to ransom in a particular way where they would depend on what the performance of the government is. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that because it is difficult to hold this current government on their performance. And I mean the NPP, to say whether it is the economy or it is about GDP, is it about petroleum prices, is it about goods and services, and the high cost of living of the Ghanaian people. The NPP couldn't hold NDC to that when it comes to issues of governance. Again, the kind of candidate that the NPP presented was also questionable, because we were looking at a leader or a candidate whose leadership qualities and skills really appeal to the people. We're also looking at the track record of the candidate and his experience. And so these are key variables that played a very significant role as far as the election is concerned. Now, when it comes to the part of the NDC and Baba Jamal, you recall that during the internal primaries, there was some changes which really affected the entire party. That is the monetization and influencing of people to vote for them. My big brother Musa Dankwa came out with a poll. And as a student of research, I did not downplay research at all. But I realized that people were mimicking Musa Dankwa's data. Musa Dankwa's data were scientifically proven. Had it not been the influencing of people or voters with money, television sets, Kosiomeko and all that, Musa Dankwa would have gotten his predictions very, very right. But because of the dynamics that took place, which is monetizing the system, got an effect on Musa Dankwa's data. So I don't see why the NDC would mimic Musa Dankwa's polls, when of course they know that there were certain factors that led to the change of data from Musa Dankwa. But moving forward, I think that the NDC felt so reluctant, not the party itself, but supporters or the base of the party felt so reluctant that why the constituency is going to turn green. What will be the problem if I don't really come out to vote? Again, we realized that there was some level of apathy within the rank and file of the supporters of the NDC. Some were rooting for Hajia, others were also rooting for Baba Jamal, and at the end of the day, the Baba Jamal emerged victoriously as the candidate, and that led to Umar Sanda deciding to go for an independent candidate. Of course, Umar Sanda has been in the constituency for quite a long time. He's been a 3-term assembly member. He controls the grounds. He's a grassroots person of the NDC. And so I wasn't really surprised the kind of magic he did. Although he did not have the team, that machinery that the NDC and NPP had. But I think he also did his best by drawing some margin of votes from the constituency, and largely came from the NDC's base. For me, the parties were supposed to creep up their base. In general elections, the euphoria goes so high that whether you like it or not, when parties are organizing rallies and meetings and all that, based on the euphoria, a lot of people would want to, be involved in their party activism. But in this case, you realize because of the fasting, a lot of people would have to reserve their energies so that they can keep on with the fasting or the spiritual exercise ongoing. So by and large, I think that what really contributed to all these changes are that the dynamics got changed because of the fasting they find themselves in.
My final question, and do this for me in 1 minute. A voter population of close to 49,000. Baba Jamal gets only 10,000. Does it mean he doesn't have the entire constituency backing him?
Well, it is very difficult to say he doesn't have the entire constituency backing him. We have mentioned the fact that there was fasting going on, and so people did not come out. During by-elections, historically, we have been recording low voter turnout, which of course to us as election watch is a worry, because the Electoral Commission would not decide to say that because we have 49,000 to 50,000 voters on our list, we are going to reduce it because it is a by-election, or because they are having fasting, we are going to reduce it. Definitely, they are going to print the same ballot papers, and they may add pluses to it. The Ghana Police Service is also going to do their own security arrangements to bring in the number of security personnel who they think can help them manage in case there is any issue of violence. But when it turns out that the people who are the voters do not come out to vote, then it means that we are causing financial loss to the state. And for this reason, we think that the Electoral Commission and NCCE too should be highly involved in advocating and educating the people to come out to vote. In the absence of this, we will continue to record low voter turnout. And so Baba Jamal scoring 10,000, I don't think can be attributed to the fact that the constituents do not really like him or otherwise. However, we think it is as a result of the fasting.
Mark, before you go, let me ask you, where do you stand in the debate of our current electoral or by-election system, where people say we should scrap this by-election system and get parties to nominate people to represent or replace members of parliament who are no more, and the others who say it's a democracy, let's continue to elect people, let's go through the electoral process? Where do you stand? Should the by-elections be scrapped, or you think that we should continue the process as it is?
I think that we have adopted this particular system of election, and we go by the simple majority or the first past the post. In a case where the constituency becomes a swing constituency, would proponents of we scrapping by elections go for the same position when the constituency is a swing constituency where any candidate or any political party can win? When we go by this tangent, what is going to happen is that it is not at all times that people die for elections to be conducted. I mean, by-elections to be conducted. At a point, you remember what happened in Talensi, where the candidate decided that he's been skinned, and so he's resigning from his parliamentary duties. That constituency looked a swing constituency. And so if the candidate decides that I am going to be skinned, and so we should get a replacement, then it means that the replacement would have to come from the same political party. We have 4 years. If year 1, a candidate decides that I am traveling out of the country, and so I am no more interested in continuing with my parliamentary duties, the party would nominate a different person to come and replace him. That is year 2. Same year 2, that candidate will also come to say that, well, I think that I'm going to be skinned, and so I'm no more interested in continuing my parliamentary duties. It means that is the second person. The third person may also come to give a different excuse. Same way the fourth person can also come with an excuse. This can be properly arranged within the political party to give space for each and every one of them to have a fee of the parliamentary system, which I don't think is the best for us. And also, it is also not going to be a good thing to practice, because people are interested in exercising their franchise to elect.
Okay.
And the Ladina word here is to elect. So whether the candidate in office dies or voluntarily resigns or resigns based on some specific reasons, it will be very unwise to say that let us scrap the bi-electoral system, and the party that wins nominates a candidate to replace. I don't think it's the best way to go.
All right, Mark, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Mark Ewusi Akko is the convener for Election Watch Ghana, one of the organizations that predicted the Ayawaso East by-election as far as the election of Baba Jama and the whole election is concerned. Gentlemen, we have to wrap up. But then, Musa, I'll have you before I come to Fred. Baba Jama, huge figure, huge individual, experience. What does he bring on board?
No, he's a politician. From his days in Akwetia, I think he knows how to organize the ground very well. And he's typical fighter. You know, he doesn't just coil his own. He's a fighter. And Nima is a place you need to fight. You know, so probably he's coming to
you don't survive.
He's coming to the right place for the kind of person that he is. But look, he needs to reconnect very well with the constituency. He needs to win minds and hearts of the people. The issues surrounding his election, he must find a way to chart the new course from there and make sure that he avails himself to the people and serve them well. I think he will do well.
Fred?
For me, I want to look at what he's going to bring to the House of Parliament. Baba Jamal has been a former member of Parliament for Akwetia. He's been a Deputy Minister for Information.
Deputy General Secretary of the NDC.
General Secretary of the NDC. He's been a High Commissioner to Nigeria. So he has some kind of diplomacy experience also. And we've always spoken about the fact that there's lack of continuity and experience in the House of Parliament. When there are elections like this, you are introducing new people who now need to learn the ropes of the House, learn the procedures. By the time you are experienced enough to understand how the whole House works, it's time for an election. Because don't forget, you're not coming in from the first year. You're in the second year of the election. So by the time you get settled, it's another election. So there's nothing really gotten from you. So for me, Baba Jamal's election to the House of Parliament settles some of these issues because of his experience and because of he knowing how the House works. He will just go quickly into action. It would help the NDC itself because a large number of people within the NDC side are new people.
Newcomers.
Baba Jamal is going to add up to some of the experienced people who have come to the House and worked within the House before. So then it's easy for him to understand and go and push the party's agenda in the House. So for me, regardless of how he was elected, regardless of what happened and what transpired, if it comes to parliamentary working, it goes to the benefit of the country because you have an experienced person, you have someone who knows the ins and outs of the House to come and continue the work of a 4-term member of parliament. If it comes to committee work, he knows what the committee does. He understands what committees does. Looking at his experience, he can be placed in any committee and he will function, either in employment, either in foreign affairs, or whatever political committee he's put there. He's a lawyer.
But he's a lawyer. But another funny question that came up in the newsroom. Why are you going to place him? Front bench or back bench or middle bench?
Well, he's not going to be. I don't think Baba Jamal is going to be a back bencher. And neither is he going to be a front bencher.
Middle bencher.
He's going to be in the middle because he's been there before.
Yeah.
He has experience, more experience than about 40%.
I'm sure when he was MP, a lot of those in the house never had the ambition of becoming members of parliament.
So I think that he will be in the middle bench.
We'll wait to see where he will sit. It's very critical.
I'll be surprised. When he maintains the same seat as a former MP.
Okay.
Based on his experience, just based on his experience, I'll be surprised if he maintains the same seat as a former MP, and if there's a reshuffle within the committees of the House, and he's made part of the leadership of a committee. I won't be surprised at all.
Based on experience.
Based on experience.
Fred, thank you. Musa, thank you. Another exciting edition of Citiuation that came to you live from our studio here in Accra. My name is Sammi Wiafe. So we'll come your way again. May the good Lord be with us all.